Everybody always asks me, what is it like going through all of the emotions of being a NICU mom? What's life like after your baby is home?
If nobody told you, baby, your pressure. I've been with triplets, I've been with twins, I've been so long, we're doing years.
Waiting for the doctor to look over her scans, look at everything, let me know what's going on, has it closed, any substantial progress, regression, anything like that. And now we'll hear about surgery. Life for NICU mom. This is life after the NICU. So we are in the car leaving her appointment. And thankfully, we got great news. So the murmur is still there. Let me roll these windows up. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Um, the murmur is still there. However, it's smaller than what it was 6 months ago. So now he's saying that he doesn't need to see her until a year from now. So we went from appointments every 6 months to now 1 year. So that is amazing progress. Yay for Botsy. We are headed home. I have no idea. She completely showed out. Like, you see how she slouched it? Like, just attitude. Now walk away. Like, just, I don't know. But when I say she showed out, she showed out. She did not want the sonographer to touch her. Like, she really showed her behind. And I don't like that for me. I really don't like that for me. So, we're gonna go home. We're gonna have some breakfast, and we're gonna reset. That's what the plan is. We're gonna reset. We have to reset because the way that Miss Girl performs, no ma'am, it's given you punished for the rest of the day. Truthfully, with that behavior. So, breakfast, nap. Well, she's gonna eat. I'm gonna drink a protein shake because, as we know, I am 1 week away from having gastric sleeve. Yes, we're long story. That'll be a conversation for a later date. So headed home. The amount of construction that they are doing downtown is dangerous. There are orange cones and people and workers and construction and rocks and everywhere. I don't like that for me. Life after the NICU, now she going to sleep. Yeah, as you should. A nap is what you need, Miss Girl. A nap is truly needed. Okay, I had to make sure my mic was still on. Being a NICU mom is really not for the weak. And I say that because it is such a hard time, a rough experience that only other moms who have gone through it and knows what it feels like and have gone through it to the extent of which you've gone through it, right? Because there are some NICU moms where their baby was only in the NICU maybe for like 5 to 7 days and all those different things. And then there are NICU moms whose baby's been in the hospital for months. My daughter was in the hospital for months. She was in the NICU for 102 days. That is 3 months. And throughout that time, it was such a struggle. In the beginning, I was just bummed out. I was bummed out because I didn't get to experience my full pregnancy the way that I thought that I was going to, the way that I would have liked to. all the way to the end. I didn't get to do the baby shower, the maternity photos, all the things that the girlies do. I did not get a chance to do. So I was really bummed about that, right? I didn't get looking back. I feel like I didn't get enough pictures pregnant. Um, I didn't really, I just didn't get to enjoy my pregnancy to the end. I enjoyed it for the time that I was pregnant, but not to the end like I wanted to, right? Um, and when she came early, I was initially, of course, that first appointment, like when I got to the hospital and they told me like, that um the membrane is exposed, all of those different things, that I was in preterm labor. I was scared out of my mind. I cried, and then I literally heard God tell me, she's okay. She's fine. I heard him say that to me right here in my ear. He told me that she was okay. So after that, I had no more worry and no more panic. However, as time went on, um, I wasn't worried about her progressing and getting better. I now, granted, I'm not gonna lie, I had my moments. Like there was a night where things were touch and go with her, in a sense of she was like destatting really bad. She would like, she just was acting like she just was so exhausted and tired, and it was her time, and it literally was not her time. So come to find out, Nyla would hold her breath. So when, backtrack a little bit, typically when babies are born at 24, 25 weeks, when they're born preterm, right? Because there's preterm, another thing, and then like early, and then, on time, right? So she was preterm. Um, Typically, babies that are born that early, they are put on some type of, they have to be put on some type of breathing machine kind of thing, right? They have to be, typically they're intubated actually. Nyla never had to be intubated throughout her entire NICU stay. The doctors were actually very surprised that when she came out, she was breathing on her own. She was breathing room air. She was fine. Like she was completely fine. She did not need to be intubated. And the NICU team at the hospital that I had her, Mercy, they were on it. They were ready. They were ready to go. But she didn't need to be intubated or anything like that, and she was just placed on oxygen, low level oxygen, just to help her because her body wasn't fully ready yet. Her lungs, the lungs are the last in the body to develop. So she needed a reminder once you inhale to exhale. So that night that she was like, things were like touch and go, she was just destatting all the time, and her level, she just would not even out or whatever. It was because this girl was in the NICU holding her breath. She's literally been this way. She's been this Nyla that we are experiencing now. She's been this way since the womb. And you can't tell me otherwise. She was so feisty in the NICU that they called her Feisty Nyla. Like they knew her cry. They knew that if she was like destat and they could see it from the nurse's station, that it wasn't because it was something going on with her. It was because she took her leads off. Like one time her nurse came in the room and she was holding her leads in the hand like a bouquet of flowers. Like she had taken, like, so lead, if you're on a NICU parent, leads are like the little stickers that they stick all over their body, your chest, and stuff like that to keep up with your heart rate and all of those different things. So she had taken them off in the NICU. She had taken them off. They rush into the room thinking something's going on. She has the leads in her hand. She's laying down and she has the leads in her hand. Another feisty Nyla moment. She had a thing called did she have a CPAP? She had a CPAP. And the CPAP just helped her while her lungs were still developing to push out that oxygen. You got to push it out, right? So because she was tired of the CPAP, because that was her sign. Also, too, when she was in the NICU, when she was done with something, she would let you know because she would take it off or she would move it. She had taken the Velcro because it's Velcro across the bridge, across the face to hold the mask in place. She had stuck her finger in a little peak and worked, and took her some time, but worked to get the Velcro off so that she could get the mask off of her face. Her nurse called home one night that I went home just to sleep in my bed, of course, because you being in that NICU every day, all day, you still have to maintain your sanity the best way that you can, right? I've gone home for the day, for the night, not for the day, for the night. And the NICU calls me and they were like, we got to send you these pictures. We need your number so we can send you these pictures of Nyla. She came in and Nyla had her diaper completely off. It was at the bottom of the bed. She went in to do her feeds and to do her changes and stuff. And she was like, this baby is completely naked. Nyla had taken the diaper off. She was out of the diaper and it was at the bottom of the bed. Like, she's just been feisty, Nyla. Even her pediatrician, the techs at her pediatrician's office, they still call her feisty Nyla. Like, she's just feisty. So even with her being feisty Nyla, it still was a mental thing more than anything. And then there was a period of time where I was just like so fed up with not having my baby home that I was over it. I was over it. The issue was because there are like steps in order for your baby to come home. They have to be breathing on their own. Well, every NICU is different. Let me say that every NICU is different, every baby is different, every case is different. With Nyla specifically, in the hospital that she was in specifically, she had to be breathing on her own, complete room air, doing a full bottle feed, if not up to 80% of a full bottle feed. And that's all day, not just one bottle. That's all day. She had to be doing 80%. She had to pass the car seat test. She had to be able to sit in the car seat for 90 minutes and sit up, not slouch down or, get fatigued and fall and all of those different things, even with being buckled in and stuff. Because if she was to slouch down, that would show signs that like she's having some type of lung and breathing issue or whatever. So they wouldn't have let her come home. And then I do believe like there was this at this point, it's been a year ago. So I do believe that there was also something else that had to be done, but I just remember those specifically. And the biggest issue with her was the bottle feeding. I don't know what was going on. She just would have her favorites and have her picks. Certain nurses would be able to get her to feed and to do a full bottle, almost if not almost the full thing. And some of them, they could barely get her to do at least 2 ounces. She would just conk out, get tired, conk out, get tired, and then she just would just call it quits. And they would have to feed her through the feeding tube. And that was the thing for me that I was just like, there's no way. I've never experienced it. Whenever I come and I feed her, there were no issues. She drank the full bottle, so I didn't understand like what was going on. It was just her being picky, being feisty Nyla, the way that she knows how to be, the only way she knows how to be. Um, so that was a thing. Can I tell y'all? I had gotten to the point where I was so fed up. I went and stayed at the NICU for an entire week. I did not leave. I went in and I came out. Thankfully, at the hospital that she was in, parking is free for NICU parents. They give you tickets, and when your tickets run out, you go get some more. Like, thank God, because that parking right there, that would have been a lot of money. But whatever, I'm paying it. It doesn't matter. I stayed in the NICU with her for an entire week to get her feed so that she could have those feeds on record that she's taking the full amount of the amount that is required. Being a NICU parent is not for the weak. I'm telling you. When I saw them draw her blood and they do it in the heel of their foot, I cried. I had to step behind the curtain. Child, the nurses had to come behind the curtain and come and get me because I cried. When they did her eye exam to check her eyes, I cried then because she was so uncomfortable and she was just literally screaming. And at that time, when you're only 3 pounds, 4 pounds, like she was so little and so tiny, like she's still very petite for her age. She's smaller than the average 1 year old. Just because my baby was born weighing 1 pound and 13 ounces. But just being that small and hearing her cry, she sounded like a little cat, like a little kitten that was just in distress, and I couldn't handle it. Like the NICU stay, hang in there. Any of my parents, especially moms, that are watching this and you have a baby and or babies in the NICU, hang in there. Advocate for your baby. If you have a question about something, question it. If you have a concern, let them know. Do not allow for a doctor, a surgeon, or whoever to silence you and just tell them because they are the medical professional that they know what's best and just go with that. If you feel like you need a second opinion, get the second opinion. Get the third opinion. It does not matter. Like Nyla and I became such a special case in the hospital where I had her that the chairman of OBGYN of the hospital took over my case while I was pregnant, and then he oversaw Nyla while she was in the NICU. So, and then because of the experience that I had, he now takes over, and mind you, he's the chairman of OBGYN. That is his specialty. He does not do pediatrics. He does not do gastro. He doesn't do all it, but because he's the chairman, he oversees all of my things because of how special my case was when I was there. He sent me to so he found my surgeon. He got my surgeon to get me in during my 6 weeks postpartum. I had to have 2 emergency surgeries. Your girl almost died. Yeah. A time, I can't say a time was had, but the time did what it did. It timed really hard. But my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the one that I serve, baby, he made sure that I made it out every time. All right. He saw us through, honey. Saw me through. Um, but the chairman, he took over everything. He was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. We still check in with him every now and again. Like my mom, she sent him and the whole pediatrics department sent them snacks, sent them all kinds of stuff, day shift and night shift. Um, like they really became family. Like they literally became family. Like I'd still take her up to the NICU. Like on her days when she has her appointments, I take her up to the NICU just so that they can still see her. I still send pictures, all of those things because they understand how stressful it was for me. Like they looked out for me, they looked out for her, especially during that time where I was just struggling with pumping and I just needed to sleep. And yes, I wanted to do all of her feeds and all of her changing and stuff every time that I was there, but sometimes I just needed to sleep because my body was also recovering from emergency surgery. So they looked out for me.
If nobody told you